Do I create a return on my investment when I become an Odoo partner? How do I generate revenue as a partner with this company? Of course, we will talk about sales commissions, we will talk implementations, but today the main focus is going to be sustainable, recurring revenue strategies as Odoo partners. Good morning, everyone. I'm glad you could still make it on a Friday morning with us. My name is Rico Mein. I'm joined here today by my colleague Alexandre de Combry, and we will be taking you on a journey to actually go the Odoo partnership as a basis for recurring revenues. And of course, every journey starts with your first steps. You have to become, first of all, a partner, of course. I think that should be obvious. And afterwards, you will have to learn. You will have to study. And all of that we are going to explore in the beginning to see really how you can take this on. So, without further ado, let's do it. Just to give you a bit of an idea what we're going to talk about, first of all, we're going to do about acquisition as Odoo partners, so basically generate sales, generate leads. And then we're going to do your first project implementation. And last but not least, Alexandre will discuss with you the retention, the recurring revenues as Odoo partner. So first things first, you got to invest your time. Your knowledge is, at the end of the day, what you sell as an Odoo partner. And therefore, your biggest asset is knowing the product, knowing the business, and investing in trainings, learn how everything works, learn how to implement Odoo, how to use Odoo, how to train your clients, everything what you need to do to create those revenues is your knowledge base. And for that, learn Odoo. We do offer you trainings, so we are always happy to assist you in any step along the way. Furthermore, when you know enough, when you have a good basis on that, spread the word. Generate a Odoo sales pipeline. Get into the marketing, the lead generation, everything that you need to create this interest, to create these clients is the massively important aspect. Because if you want to generate recurring revenues, first of all, you get a client. So that's why you need to generate this marketing activities, generate the lead generation, and create more pipeline to get this first Odoo project. Your first Odoo project is always going to be a learning curve, but it's what is to be expected. And again, we support you every step along the way. We have our experts, our business consultants to work with you really on your first Odoo project. And this is the basis then on generating more projects, generating more revenue, and being more successful as Odoo partners. But don't focus everything on one project. Alex is going to talk much more about that later. But create a reliable commercial base. It's very important that you have more generic number of clients than just to focus on one big client and to be dependent on them. So we want a big Odoo clientele base. And this is really the main aspect. Basically, your commercial start of the journey to create these recurring revenues with Odoo is get into the product, get into your marketing, and generate this commercial Odoo base. So next step is going to be your Odoo implementation, your Odoo project. The first one is always going to be a learning curve, as I said. And of course, we're there for you. We're going to help you. We're going to answer your questions, and we're not going to leave you alone. we know Odoo implementation is something that is new to you as a new Odoo partner, and it's something that we want to support you in, that we want to really be your guidance and help you. So how do we do Odoo implementations? I'm not going to go too much into detail on this, but as you will see, we do have a certain methodology in implementing Odoo clients with us, and we always recommend our Odoo partners to do the same and to really work with us in this matter. We work with so-called MVPs, minimal viable products, that are the basic requirements of your client to be productive in their Odoo system. So really to have a rolling release, I hope you all saw the band yesterday that's called the same way, and we do have one MVP after the other. So the first one could be, for example, a sales process to generate a pipeline for your clients, generate their CRM, import their contacts, their products, and make them productive in that aspect of the system. First of all, of course, you analyze their requirements, discuss their needs with them, post-qualification, so to speak, after the sales process that has been done. When that is concluded, you, of course, implement the system, set it up for the clients, make sure that it is everything they want, everything they need, and that they're going to be happy with the system. Because afterwards they will validate, they will train on how to use Odoo. And of course, again, this is a service that you can provide to your clients. You can train your clients as a revenue strategy. And from everything that you do, let's take the example of the sales process that we are doing. You're going to do your learnings. You're going to know where you can improve, what happened well, and how we can get into the next phase. Because it is a circle. After the sales process, you can implement project management, inventory, whatever your heart desires. We will be continuing this work with Odoo because that's really the important aspect. And it's also a continuous learning process. All the conclusions that you've done in your first implementation is, of course, going to be your next step, Odoo. Your learning is always going to be improving your services, improving yourself, and we will go to that in a bit more in detail with Alexandre. So I'm going to give him the stage, and we're going to discuss now Odoo retention, Odoo recurring revenues.
Thank you, Rico. Retention is by far the most interesting part of your sales process as an Odoo partner, because that's where you can find recurring revenues. My name is Alexandre, and I'd like to guide you through some strategies you can implement in your business in order to create sustainable revenue streams from the start. Okay? Today, I won't tell you how to retain a customer. Okay? That's also the topic of the next show. And I'd like to focus first on the first strategy you can immediately put in place in your business. So I'm sure everyone heard about the fact that you should not put all the eggs in one basket. Okay? It's also true with Odoo. You can lose a project. That's just the reality of things. And that's why we should avoid customer concentration. Customer concentration occurs when one single client accounts for a significant part of your revenue. That's, of course, not what we want. So in the start of your journey as a partner, it's really important for you to focus on these smaller projects where you can build up your knowledge, build up your experience, okay? And in the next steps, you will be able, once you have a solid customer base, which you can rely on in terms of recurring revenues, then you should go for these bigger projects where you can have bigger margins and also bigger references. So spread the risks. That's the message I want to deliver, and avoid that customer concentration. So, in my opinion, recurring revenues comes through recurring investments. And you're here today, and in the past 2 days as well, investing your time, going to the talks, learning about the new features of Odoo, looking at the new version, posting on social media. You're here investing your time. Make it profitable. It's really important for you to take it as work and not only leisure and yeah, discovering something. You have to make it profitable. So that way you can first set up meetings with the clients you have already in previous versions of Odoo. Okay? And you're going to be able to assess your services and the delivery you made in the past. Okay? One way to do this is really easy. You bring in the key users in the feedback loop. They're going to tell you, okay, these users don't embrace the solution the good way, okay? Or they maybe didn't invest in an SLA subscription that you would like to put in place, okay? That's types of assessments that you can make and bring in the new features you discovered at Odoo Experience this year into their business. So that's really important. And after the assessment, you can then upgrade your services, okay? You can then upsell, okay? If the SLA was not enough, okay, you can maybe come and sell an extra service. Or maybe those users that didn't embrace the solution needs to be trained again. Okay, that's also a possibility. So try to identify where the new functionalities, the new features of Odoo can bring in new, more efficient ways of working to your client. That's really important. So in order to summarize this real quick, we saw how to sell Odoo and how it is important to have a good qualification, a good marketing strategy. We saw how to deliver, implement with a minimum viable product, as Rico explained. And then, in my opinion, you should always rethink your implementation, okay, with the newest version of Odoo, and that's how you're going to be able to make sustainable revenue at the end of the day. This was our vision on how to create those sustainable revenues, and I hope this will help you in your journey as a partner. Thank you.
And in case you have any questions, don't hesitate to check out the pad and scan the QR code.
Thank you guys for your great presentation. Questions are coming.
Maybe it was crystal clear.
The first question that it seems to be completed. What training options are there?
All right, so we have different trainings that we offer new partners in Odoo, and they're based on 3 pillars, so to speak. Of course, you have commercial training, commercial support from your partner manager with Odoo, who's always going to train you how to qualify, implement, sell, and demonstrate Odoo projects. Then, furthermore, we have functional training. If you've watched the training before, the speech before from my colleagues Cedric and Marco, they were discussing about project leader onboarding. And this is a functional training that we offer to our clients that is fairly standardized. Also, you can go more into detail on expertise trainings in smart classes to go really into the different aspects of Odoo expertise applications. And last but not least, you can have a technical training with us where we teach you how to write your Python code in the environment of Odoo.
And if I may add something, I think the technical training was updated just now. So I think our colleagues Emanuele and I don't remember the name of the second one, were doing a talk about it. So now we have a new technical training, and that talk was recorded as well.
Okay, thank you. Good to know. Next question. What would you recommend to do if my first project is more than 100 users and can be complex? Should I hold it off and focus on smaller projects?
So it's really important to understand what are the strengths you have as a partner, but also where you can where you need room, where you have room for improvement. So of course, if you don't have the right resources, and in resources it can be knowledge, but it can also be the number of people you have, because implementing a 100 users project might take time if you're alone, but if it needs to be in shorter time, yeah, well, then maybe you should have more consultants. So of course you can count on us to help you identify if you have the right resources, and if not, we can try to help you through consulting services, etc. But of course, we can help you in this.
Thanks. What are the most common activities to generate leads?
So to generate leads, very commonly, you of course have your marketing channels. You do have also your text on our website at Odoo. If you're looking to find a partner in Odoo, then you are posted there as Odoo partner. And otherwise, of course, we do have our social marketing very active at the moment, be it LinkedIn, be it Facebook, be it any other social media platform. You do have also your normal client base. Because when you become a Odoo partner, then you already have the opportunity to speak to other companies before, to have maybe also a client base with different products, anything in that sense. And those can also most of the time at least benefit from discussing about the opportunity of installing an ERP system such as Odoo. And in that regard, we see that as a great opportunity to generate those leads, those sales opportunities.
You can also ask references to existing customers. I mean, that happens sometimes. I don't see a lot of partners doing this actually, but it's really important. Ask references. Do you know other businesses that may have advantage of using Odoo? That's also a strategy you can.
Thank you. Next question. How should I build a go-to-market strategy? Is Odoo supporting me as a partner?
Yeah, so basically, we as partnership development managers, we can help you in this go-to-market strategy. It's really important. What I hear a lot is partners that say, okay, I want to go to that industry, a specific vertical industry. And that's perfectly okay if you have a lot of experience in this. Okay, that's the way you should go. But before going into depth in one vertical, you should become first a generalist. That's the idea what we have. Okay, Odoo is so wide as a solution that you have to be, you need to have knowledge of all the functionalities of the wide spectrum of Odoo. And then after a first project, you can specialize as a generalist.
Thank you. And last question. How do you get your first customer with no completed projects with Odoo?
Of course, the first customer without any references is always a tricky issue if you think about it from this theory. But as yet again, most of our Odoo partners do already have some background in IT, have done some work, and maybe it's a client that you've worked with before, or maybe it's a client that you know somehow from before. That's always a great way to actually get this first client, to get this first lead. But also, at the end of the day, we discussed in the beginning about the training, about you learning about the system. And when you can show your knowledge, when you can show that you're an expert in the Odoo system, then you really have the opportunity to prove this to the client, not only how amazing Odoo is, as we've seen over the last 2.5 days so far, but also about your expertise, your knowledge in the system, and that you can support the client, that you can implement the system for them.
Okay, thank you. We're done here. Thank you for your presentation. And if you do have any other questions, detailed questions, come to the guys and they will definitely help you. Thanks.
Thank you very much for listening, everyone.
Thank you.